Gentlemen, let me begin with a truth that may startle you. For decades, men across America have carried a silent question. Does size really matter? From television jokes to locker room whispers to the endless exaggerations online, the same drumbeat repeats, bigger is better. And yet millions of men, even in their 60s and 70s, still lie awake at night wondering, am I enough? I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, a board-certified urologist with over 30 years of helping men just like you reclaim confidence, protect intimacy, and live with dignity. I've heard this same confession from thousands of patients. I've seen how the myth of size gnaws away not just at sex lives, but at marriages, self-esteem, even a man's sense of worth. But here's the twist. Science tells a far different story. Study after study shows that women do not secretly crave extremes. When asked privately, their preferences land squarely in the range most men already have. The truth is far more reassuring and more surprising than you might expect. In this video, I'll reveal the real numbers, exactly how many inches women actually prefer. But I won't stop there. I'll also share the 5 mistakes men over 60 make that quietly destroy their confidence and the steps you can take today to rebuild it. Before we begin, I want you to do 2 things. First, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss another straight science-based talk made for men in their 60s and beyond. Second, give this video a like. Every time you press that button, you're not just helping this message reach another man, you're planting a flag of courage for yourself. And here's my wish for you. May that click bring you steady confidence. May it bring peace to your nights. And may it open the door to deeper intimacy in your life. If this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0 and tell me how I can serve you better. Now, let's dive in. For as long as I've been practicing medicine, I've watched men punish themselves with one of the cruelest tricks our culture plays on them: the myth of size. You see it everywhere: movies that exaggerate, magazines that sensationalize, locker room boasts, and endless posts online that glorify only the extremes. It's no wonder that so many men, even well into their 60s and 70s, quietly measure themselves against false standards and come away feeling inadequate. I recall one of my patients, Mr. Harris, age 68. He sat in my office, shoulders slumped, eyes on the floor, and whispered like he was confessing a crime, "Doctor, I don't think I measure up." That fear had haunted him for decades. When I showed him the real scientific averages between 5 and 6 inches in length with girth around 4.5 to 5, he realized he was exactly in the preferred range. He broke down in tears. Years of silent suffering lifted in a single moment. Here's the truth. Study after study confirms that when women are asked privately without the noise of social media or pressure to impress, their overwhelming preference falls right in that average zone, not the extremes men imagine, but the steady middle. Most men already live in the very space women actually prefer. So why does this myth persist? Because shame sells. Industries profit when men believe they are lacking. Pills, pumps, procedures, all feeding the fear. And the tragedy is that millions of men who are perfectly normal, even ideal, spend their lives feeling less than. Gentlemen, women do not measure your worth in inches. They measure it in trust, presence, and how you show up with care. Size was never the story you were told. Letting go of that lie is the first step toward reclaiming confidence. And yet, even when men drop the Hollywood illusions, another mistake quietly takes its place, overlooking the one factor that matters more than any ruler: your health. Without it, intimacy suffers long before you ever step into the bedroom. Too many men focus endlessly on size but overlook the very foundation of intimacy: health. The truth is simple. Your ability in the bedroom depends less on length and more on blood flow, hormones, and the habits that keep your body strong. Yet I've seen men chase quick fixes, pills, gadgets, even risky procedures, while ignoring the daily choices that quietly drain their vitality. I remember Mr. Lawson, a 71-year-old retired truck driver. He came to me convinced something was terribly wrong because his erections weren't what they used to be. He blamed age, even size. But when we dug deeper, the story was clear. Years of smoking had scarred his blood vessels. Poor sleep and constant stress had lowered his testosterone. Too much sitting on the road, too little movement, his circulation was sluggish. His problem wasn't his anatomy, it was the way he'd been living. When Mr. Lawson committed to small changes, walking every morning, drinking more water, cutting back on cigarettes, practicing stress control, his performance began to return, not overnight but steadily. His confidence grew as his body responded. That wasn't magic. It was biology honoring the care he finally gave it. Gentlemen, erections are a mirror of overall health. Every sleepless night, every pound of belly fat, every cigarette silently erodes performance. But every healthy choice, good rest, regular movement, balanced nutrition builds you back up. What your partner sees is not perfection but vitality, and vitality is the most attractive trait a man can carry. If you want to feel more powerful in the bedroom, start by respecting your body outside of it. When you invest in health, you project confidence. Your partner senses that energy, and no ruler in the world can compete with the presence of a man who feels strong and alive. But even health alone isn't enough. Many men miss the second great truth. Intimacy isn't about pushing for more, it's about making her feel safe and at ease. That's where comfort and fit enter the story. One of the most overlooked truths about intimacy is this. The female body was never designed to reward extremes. Too much length or girth doesn't create passion, it creates discomfort, sometimes even pain. And yet I see men in their later years still clinging to the illusion that bigger always means better. They push themselves toward an image that not only fails to please their partner, but sometimes makes her dread intimacy altogether. I recall Mr. Dalton, a 72-year-old veteran who came to me frustrated. He believed his wife had lost interest because of age or hormones. But when we invited her into the conversation, she admitted something quietly. Intimacy had become rushed and uncomfortable. He thought force proved masculinity. She longed for patience, gentleness, and attention to her comfort. When Mr. Dalton shifted his focus from performance to connection, something remarkable happened. His wife felt safe again. She began to lean into intimacy, not shy away from it. What changed? Not his size, not his stamina, but his attentiveness. Gentlemen, women are not asking you to perform like an actor. They are asking you to listen. Comfort is not weakness, it is the foundation of desire. When a woman feels safe, her body responds, her trust deepens, her passion grows. True intimacy begins when she feels valued, not pressured. This lesson is vital. Women don't want to be a stage for your performance. They want to be partners in connection. Every time you slow down, respect her comfort, and ask what feels right, you tell her without words, "You matter to me." That message ignites more passion than any number on a ruler ever could. And yet, many men still fall into another trap, believing that all women want the same thing. They chase a universal formula that doesn't exist, forgetting that every woman is unique. That assumption, too, can quietly destroy intimacy. One of the most dangerous assumptions men carry into their later years is the belief that all women desire the same thing. They imagine there's a universal formula, size, technique, or stamina that guarantees satisfaction. But women are not identical in their bodies or their desires. Believing otherwise blinds men to what truly matters, learning the unique language of the woman beside them. Research confirms this. While most women prefer an average size, there are slight variations. Some women who experience certain kinds of orgasm may lean toward a length around 6.5 inches. But notice that word slight, not extremes, not the fantasies men punish themselves with, just subtle differences within a normal range. And for many women, size is irrelevant compared to trust, communication, and tenderness. I remember counseling Mr. Bennett, age 66, and his wife. He had convinced himself, after reading online forums, that she wished he were larger. He carried that insecurity like a shadow. When I spoke with her privately, she smiled and said, "Doctor, I don't care about that. I care that he doesn't ask me what I actually like." Her words stunned him. The problem was never his body, it was his silence. Gentlemen, women are as varied as men. Some value physical traits, others value emotional connection. Some may notice size, many do not. But almost all value presence, the way you listen, the way you touch, the way you make her feel cherished. By assuming all women want the same thing, you rob yourself of the chance to learn what your partner craves most. So I encourage you, stop asking, "Am I enough?" Start asking, "What makes you feel most alive?" That one question can transform not just intimacy, but your marriage and your self-confidence. And yet, even when men understand individuality, another mistake can quietly ruin everything. Not the body, not the myth, but the mind. It's the slow creep of insecurity into the bedroom. Perhaps the most damaging mistake of all is when insecurity enters the bedroom before you do. I've seen countless men, healthy, capable, even vibrant, sabotage themselves the moment doubt takes over. Worry about size, worry about performance, worry about disappointing her. The body responds with stress, cortisol rises, testosterone falls, blood flow weakens. The result, softer erections, shorter endurance, and a deep frustration that proves the very fear they walked in with. It becomes a vicious cycle. One patient, Mr. Collins, age 65, shared that he dreaded intimacy not because he didn't love his wife, but because he feared letting her down. Every time they were together, his thoughts spun around failure. Sitting beside him, his wife placed her hand on his and said through tears, "I never needed perfect, I needed you present." That moment broke through years of silence. What she wanted was his attention, not his perfection. Gentlemen, insecurity is a thief. It robs you of presence. It keeps you in your head when your partner longs for you in the moment. And women sense it immediately, not because they are judging you, but because they feel shut out. The antidote isn't found in comparison. It begins with confidence. Sometimes as simple as a ritual, taking a deep breath, reminding yourself you are enough, shifting focus from yourself to her. When you let go of the ruler in your mind and step fully into the present, your body relaxes, your erections strengthen, and intimacy becomes connection, not performance. This is where healing begins, not by chasing extremes, but by embracing truth. Most men already fall into the very range women desire. What matters most is confidence, health, and respect. And speaking of respect, I know many of you have written to me, left comments, even challenged me on these ideas. Some asked tough questions, others offered encouragement, and a few tried to poke fun. That's good, because honest conversation is how we grow. So before we conclude, let's pause for a moment and hear from you directly. Gentlemen, before we close, I want to pause and respond to some of your comments and questions from previous videos. Because this isn't just me speaking into a microphone, it's a conversation with you. Question 1, Dr. Prescott, are you sure women don't secretly want men bigger than average? Maybe they just won't admit it. My answer, the research is clear. When women are asked privately, free of pressure, they consistently choose the average range. Not because they are hiding the truth, but because comfort and connection matter far more than extremes. Question 2. Sounds nice, doc, but isn't this just to make men feel better? Fair question. Let me be blunt. I've spent 30 years in clinics, not in fairy tales. I've seen couples nearly torn apart by this myth, and I've seen them heal when truth replaces fear. If it were about comfort alone, I'd tell you. But the science matches what women confide every day. Question 3, I'm 72, had prostate surgery. Should I even worry about size anymore? Brother, what matters most now is health, circulation, and presence. Size has never defined intimacy, but taking care of your body, walking, eating wisely, managing stress will give you strength and confidence. Your partner will feel that vitality more than any number on a ruler. Question 4. If average is enough, why do companies keep selling pumps and pills? Because fear is profitable. Insecurity is a billion-dollar industry. But you don't need gimmicks, you need truth, consistency, and care. That's free. Question 5. My wife says she doesn't care about size, but I can't stop worrying. What should I do? Gentlemen, listen carefully. When a woman says she values you beyond size, believe her. Redirect your focus, ask her what makes her feel most alive. Replace self-doubt with presence. That's where intimacy flourishes. So I thank you for these questions. Keep them coming. I read every comment. Type 1 if these answers gave you peace of mind. Type 0 if you still have doubts. Either way, your voice matters here. And now, let's gather everything we've learned today and bring it home, because there is one truth above them all. Your worth as a man has never been measured in inches. Gentlemen, after decades in medicine, I can tell you this with certainty. Your worth has never been measured in inches. Science proves it. Women overwhelmingly prefer what is average. Most men already fall squarely in that range. The media myths you've been sold are just that, myths. What truly matters is how you show up. Women value comfort, safety, presence, and health more than measurements. They long for a partner who listens, who takes care of himself, and who is confident enough to leave insecurity at the door. We've walked through the 5 major mistakes: believing media lies, neglecting health, ignoring comfort, assuming all women are the same, and letting insecurity steal the moment. Each one quietly chips away at confidence, but each can be replaced with truth, vitality, connection, and strength. I've seen men in their 60s and 70s discover deeper intimacy than they ever thought possible. Not because they changed their size, but because they changed their mindset. When they let go of myths and stepped into presence, everything shifted, marriage is healed, confidence returned, passion came alive. So hold your head high, you are already enough. And if this message has spoken to you, do 3 things for me. Press like on this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with another man who needs to hear the truth. Every click isn't just helping this channel, it's a declaration that you refuse to be ruled by fear. And here's my blessing for you. May your days be steady with confidence, may your nights be filled with peace, and may your years ahead overflow with intimacy built on truth. Gentlemen, remember, strength is not in inches. It is in presence, and presence is yours to claim today.